Blog Talk Radio.
Warning, the following program may include profane language, controversial viewpoints, and perspectives on the true nature of reality so far removed from the status quo, they'll make your head spin like a top. Young children, corporate executives, and religious fundamentalists should turn away now.
Good evening. What is up, planet Earth? Welcome to another edition of Extraordinary Year, the online show that puts everyday people like you with questions about 2012 on the road to understanding. I am your host, Tim Bravo, and I'm grateful you've chosen to join us tonight. 288 days until December 21st, 2012. Also joining us tonight is co-host Canada and his wonderful girlfriend, Catherine, who has not gotten a nickname yet. And maybe even Matt Steiny Lawless is hanging out in the background. Is he out there, guys?
I think he's supposed to be calling in soon.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, on the show tonight, we'll talk about dreams and open the show to calls from people who have crazy recent experiences, nighttime experiences to share. Have you had any strange dreams recently? Call in, tell us about it. 858-956-2147. I'm personally curious to see if we can find any common themes. If we can get multiple people to call in, maybe we'll find they're all talking about similar stuff. We'll tell you about news of a new fuel-free generator, a generator that doesn't require fuel, being developed by a secretive South African company that claims to produce a steady 4 kilowatts of energy. That's enough to power a third world house. Off of nothing. We'll get an update on the latest bank resignations. The number now apparently stands at 101, maybe more. I just checked it. There have been 9 just today. But you're not hearing about that on the news, are you? But Goldman Sachs, global, in other countries, 9 financial CEOs out just today. Everyone on the inside, from the third to the fifth dimension, has been saying major arrests are supposed to start any moment. So do the 80-plus raids the German authorities just made in an insider trading sting have anything to do with that? We'll discuss. Other big news. There have been 3 major solar flares and CMEs in the past few days, with the last being the biggest. Friday might prove to be an interesting day because of it. A collection of 143 pages of UFO letters from former Senator and presidential candidate Barry Goldwater, was released this week. It doesn't tell us anything new, but it directly validates a lot of what we already knew about how the United States government apparatus handle contact with extraterrestrials and cover up the same. Benjamin Fulford is back. He says there's a way we can know which banking institutions are in league with the system, the new monetary system, and abundance funds that are about to be revealed. And if time allows, we'll look at evidence the family said by some to rule America, the Rockefellers, have been actively throwing money at the brainwashing of the American public since at least the 1940s. All this tonight, as well as your questions, comments live, 858-956-2147. And remember, you can post questions and talk amongst yourselves in the episode chat, which I'm launching right now. So if you want to chat, go over there, talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so first up tonight, dreams. Have you had any? Call in, let us know. I was just speaking with Catherine before we came on here. She said she had a crazy dream. Catherine, you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. It was a couple weeks ago, so I don't remember all of the explicit details, but I know that an apocalypse had happened. The world was desolate and disarray. It was just craziness. And it was my sister and I. My sister is 19, and we're running through Wichita trying to gather up supplies, and we end up in Walmart for some reason trying to get guns and ammo and backpacks and all of this stuff together, and we're like shooting people who are trying to shoot at us. It was just crazy and surreal. It was
Did you actually
really
kill somebody?
Dream. Yeah.
You did? Was it someone's grandma? Somebody's daughter?
No, it was just a random guy. I have no idea. I mean, I didn't even really see his face. It was just I knew he was male, and I knew he was aggressive, and I shot.
And you knew he was dead?
Yes. So
how did it end?
You know, I just kind of woke up in the middle of the night. I mean, it was one of those deals where, you know, you're going through this crazy scenario, and then you just wake up.
Yeah. Well, that seems to happen to me. I know I've had just insane dreams lately. You know, the kind of stuff that's hard to put into words. And the trouble is that I keep getting yanked out of the middle of them, and then I don't remember anything. I just remember little snippets, and like, what the hell was going on there? You know, like people I know breaking up into like 4 different insects that all look different, but they all represent that person in one. I mean, it's just trippy stuff.
Mhm.
So I wish that I had something concrete that I could share, but I don't. I just have these impressions, and I know that I've been in weird places doing weird things, and I just can never remember what it is.
Yeah, I've got a great book that you can read that can help you train your mind to remember your dreams.
Okay. Real quick, Catherine, we've got another caller, 617-7362. I should probably not give out numbers. Somebody stop me. So, is that Matt or Dave?
That's Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Give my number out to everybody.
I know. What's up with that?
That's
for everybody
Any
listening,
ladies out there, feel free to use that number and give me a call.
That's tiny. Oh, really? Because I was thinking, you know, I could go back and post and edit that, at least for YouTube. Listeners of the show who have listened before will notice that I sound a little different tonight. I actually can't hear myself. I hear myself talking in my headphones, but I don't hear it the way you guys do. So if I get a little loud, let me know. I'm using a microphone instead of my cell phone tonight. So if I'm overbearing or I'm too loud, let me know.
Actually, to be honest, I'm getting a little bit of almost an echo type thing.
What if I speak up closer?
Worse. It gets worse.
Oh, well, that sucks. Well, we'll chalk it up to Skype sucking.
Yeah, it might be it.
Any weird dreams, Matt?
I had a dream that the dishwasher broke again, which is kind of crazy because it's a brand new dishwasher. So I hope to God it doesn't
break again.
Yeah, well, no, the other one broke when we got a new one, but let's hope the new one doesn't do. Not that that's a profound and inspiring dream or anything. It's just
that's pretty mundane.
Maybe it's something that's been on my mind. I don't know.
Symbolically, it could mean that I don't know. But you know what? If it breaks, it might happen Friday, and we'll talk about that later. Friday could be an interesting day this week.
I got another dream.
Oh, yeah? Hit me.
Yeah, this one actually happened when I was about 17 years old, and it stuck with me, and I'm really hesitant to share it. I've shared it with very few people, David being one, and there's probably only 2 others that I've shared it with. I feel like people will think I'm crazy, but I actually had a dream. Again, I was 17 years old, where God came to me in a dream and told me when the second coming was going to happen.
Oh.
And the only numbers that I can really remember and dates is December and then the number 12.
Really?
Isn't that nuts? Yes.
That's awesome.
I did write down the date because I remember sharing it with my best friend Danielle because she had a slumber party with me that night, and I woke up the next morning and told her all about it, and she's like, well, we have to write this date down. And I wrote it down in a notebook, and I have to find that notebook. It's somewhere in my storage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you find that, you got to come back on and tell us about it, because that's nuts. Even if it's not December 21st, 2012, just I'm really curious to know what it was. That's interesting.
Yeah, but 17, I'm 26 now. 17, that was a long time ago. That was before any hype of 2012 even started.
Oh, I don't know about that. Some people have known about that for a little while.
As far as like what I was concerned with, at 17, I ain't know what 2012 was. I've never even heard of the Mayan calendar at that point in time in my life.
Well, the problem is, and it's more and bigger, and it's just so much more than the whole Mayan calendar thing. And unfortunately, a whole majority of people in across the globe are completely unaware of these ideas, and that's kind of what we want to change. So I haven't had any great dreams lately, but as far as dreams about with meeting God or having dreams that have to do with the kind of stuff that we talk on the show, whether it's ascension, just UFO contact, stuff like that, I've had a couple. Let's see. I did have a dream where I met Jesus and I talked to him for a while up on top of a hill. Like he and I broke off from a group of friends and went and had a talk, and then we went back. But I don't remember what we talked about. Certainly wasn't December 2012. And then I had one dream when I was in high school of being at this huge stadium at night, like a football stadium, an open-air football stadium like Arrowhead, and it was packed. And then this huge spaceship just came down directly, basically hovering over it, but covering the stadium. It was like this huge egg-shaped thing and lights, and it was awesome. And this was really before I was totally into any of this stuff. So that was definitely a dream I'll never forget. Anybody else? Okay. Well, there's a site I want to tell people about. It's called Gaia's Dreams, and it's part of the games section, actually, of former astronaut Edgar Mitchell. I don't know, are they ever former astronauts? I think once you're an astronaut, once you walk on the moon, you're kind of always an astronaut. And one of the guys who did that, his name is Edgar Mitchell, and he is now made it his life's mission to educate people on the truth of extraterrestrial reality and human spirituality combined. He's got a site called noetic.org, the Institute for Noetic Sciences. Actually, I believe it's IONS or something like that. But noetic.org, I believe, is the website. And they've got a section with games there, and one of the so-called games is a thing called Gaia's Dreams. And basically what you do is you go create a log on, and then when you have a dream, you go and record it. You say it was this predictive and felt this archetypal, stuff like that. But you do it anonymously, and you can even record the content of your dream, like tell them in the beginning I was in a field and blah blah blah, whatever. Tell your dream, and then that gets sent off, and they collect all that information, and you can see the trends in everybody who's reporting. Whether there are political dreams or there are man-made disaster dreams or, natural disaster dreams, stuff like that. And they can track that. And if you want to contribute your dreams, go to check out Gaia's Dreams there. Okay, next up I want to talk to you guys about is a free energy device from South Africa. You want to hear about this, Matt?
Absolutely. You know me.
Okay.
Please.
Well, there's this new report. This reporter with an organization called Pure Energy Systems News. He actually saw this device work. he's basically working with this company, but the company's remaining like an anonymous source. They're not saying who they are, other than they're from South Africa. They're keeping the project pretty close to the vest, understandably, because they know what's happened to others who've done the same thing. Because what they've got isn't really a huge deal. What their machine does is it's a free, fuel-free generator that should power. It's 4 kilowatts, which should power, a normal home without AC or heat or whatever. It's just like the electricity of a home to be powered by this thing. So that's enough to lift, the entire third world out of poverty, more or less, or at least to, give them a new level of comfort that, just from this little device.
Right.
And that could be a big thing. And if it actually gets out, not only could it change the daily life of billions of people, but then that's going to spread. And if one little offshoot company can do what 1 million people have done and had suppressed already and actually get it out, then that opens the door for big corporations to work on this stuff, which, the technology's out there and it's been suppressed. Really good working stuff. And the government's got it themselves. They're using it. And they've developed it since they've been suppressing it. So what do they have that we don't know about that we're about to get? And that's why this free energy stuff gets me so excited, because it's going to change the world. And it's right there just beyond our fingertips right now. And it's stupid that we don't have it. So,
I think you're right, and I think not very many people nowadays know or realize exactly how much our Western civilization relies on energy and how much energy we use. The average person, anyway, I wouldn't say the average person, but a lot of people I talk to lately nowadays, not calling them dumb or anything, but you say, well, the energy race is, it's an important part. Energy policy is a big deal. And they're like, oh, energy, what? I don't think they understand it. I don't think they appreciate it. And so they can't necessarily appreciate things like, how your electricity gets to your house or what it takes to get there. So, when it comes to voting, and doing their civic duty, doing things like, putting people in Congress in power that have control, or I wouldn't say have control, but can influence regulation as far as energy policy, energy research, stuff like that. If they aren't educated, how can they vote to change these things? How can they, put the influence in government to actually get these things out there? Like I know, and the government, the powers that be, will suppress whatever they want to suppress. They'll do it if they want to do it. But too many people nowadays don't have that understanding, so they don't know that there are things out there. They don't, they don't appreciate places in the third world where, like you said, that energy is almost non-existent. They don't have the comforts that we have here. And so they can't understand what we have. They can't understand how we can change what we have. Then, the status quo remains. And it's just a static.
But that status quo, I agree with you. And at the same time, I think that status quo has been such a part of American talk, what with gas prices and everything. I think that the average American, while totally underestimating what it takes to get them what they have, or how it compares to what other people on the planet have, I think they're talking about and thinking about energy right now. And that's why I'm saying, what if this actually gets out? All it has to do is get out somewhere. If Uganda's got it, you better believe the Hamptons are going to have it, and Manhattan Island's going to have it, and once it gets out, it's out, and the people who would stop it are going away, and as far as bank resignations and new arrests, let's talk about that. You know what? I'll go ahead, since I'm talking about the arrests. Let me go ahead and start with that. I was actually going to start with bank resignations, but the galactics and the human intelligence, the military insiders, have been saying that major arrests are coming. Like the night of the long knives. Suddenly, there's just sweeping arrests of the people at the top of the pyramid, and they're taken out of power en masse. And they've been saying, that's coming, and they keep saying it's getting closer, and we're supposedly just right on the tip of it. It's about to start happening. Maybe it already has, because today it came out that German prosecutors made more than 80 raids in the last few days, maybe just yesterday, I don't know, in Germany and across Europe, and even 4 places outside Europe. They made 80 plus, more than 80 raids in an insider stock trading ring, or basically they're looking into people with the thought of charging them of market manipulation, insider trading, and fraud. Now that's a pretty big operation, and it's in the inside. It's in the stock exchange, top of the money pyramid area of our civilization. So I don't know. Maybe this is the start. Now that's pretty big to say that these major arrests are coming, and all of a sudden they're making all these raids. I don't know.
Tim, if you haven't ever seen the documentary, The Inside Man, I think is what it's called, that is a great documentary to watch, because it goes into detail about the banks and the insurance companies and everything that led up to the recession that happened just a few years ago. And it gives a lot of great information.
But the question is, nobody ever loses their job for this stuff. No.
Well, yeah, and that's what it pegs into. Is it goes into why are these people not being prosecuted? Why are these? It goes, and the guys who did this documentary actually went and asked people in those government positions, why did you just let this slide by? And it's kind of funny to watch their facial expressions when they get asked that question.
What's it called?
It's called The Inside Man.
Okay.
I think. Let me check. I just watched it in my sociology class a couple weeks ago. Let me pull my notes and make sure I'm giving you the right title.
Okay. Well, as she's looking for that, let's talk about sounders. You guys haven't been around for a couple of weeks, so you don't know the new sounders. David, Canada, I still don't have your Dr. Seuss sounder. I'm sorry. We'll work on that. But I do have a new off-topic buzzer. So anytime anybody gets off topic, got to bring it back. I don't know why Matt's laughing.
Because apparently I'm off topic more than anyone else. So.
You know what? I didn't notice that, but I have heard talk.
I might be getting buzzed. I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
but you know what, Matt? All I can say is,
do not be afraid.
What is that?
That's the do not be afraid sounder.
I like it.
Yeah, anytime somebody gets too gloomy, too timeline 2, it's going to be,
do not be afraid.
David.
Ultimately, there's no reason to be afraid, because everything's going to go awesome. And we here on this show like to put our energy into hope. So we will not be afraid. And anybody else wants to be afraid, we'll tell them no.
Fair enough.
Did Catherine find her stuff, Catherine?
Yeah, I did find it. It's called The Inside Job.
Inside Job.
Yes.
Written by whom?
It's a great documentary. It's on Netflix if you want to find it there. It is a fantastic documentary.
Okay. Well, we don't have Netflix, do we, Monica?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah?
Oh.
No, we don't have Netflix.
No, we don't. That's supposed to make me feel guilty.
No, it was just my way of segueing you and introducing you into the conversation.
Oh, hello. You might have to catch me up. There's a little bit of lag from when I was listening. I wasn't on the phone listening.
Did you have a comment?
No, that's what I'm saying. You might have to catch me up because of the lag.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. We were talking about sounders, and you know all about the sounders. I played them for you last week.
Okay, so I'm all caught up.
And then Catherine was telling us about this documentary or book?
Documentary
called The Inside Job that details what happened running up to the 2008 crash and why the people got away with it and who got away with it and how they got away with it, right?
You know, after watching that documentary, I actually really fully believed your theory about the, what did you call them, the guys that control pretty much everything, the Illuminati.
The Illuminati, the Dark Cabal. Yeah. They've got a million names, and it's all the same thing. But, yeah, I mean, people have to realize that, you know, with a little bit of money comes a lot of power. Well, what comes with a lot of money? Because there are some people who have a lot of money, and, you know, they want to make things a certain way, and if it means manipulating you into it, then they don't care. They don't care who dies. All they care is about money and power. And so that's changing, I think.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Canada.
I got two things. I got a funny little story first. So I purchased a tactical backpack recently online, and forever, you know, just wasn't processing, it wasn't going through, didn't know what was going on. So I emailed the company, and I get a phone call back. They're out of stock, whatever. Still can't figure it out. He's like, okay, I'll call you back on Monday. Calls me back on Monday. He says, okay, we got that for you. It's ordered. Apparently it was on back order. I was like, really? The backpack on back order? He's like, yeah, I guess the sales have just blown up and camping gear and whatnot. And I shout out, would that have anything to do with 2012? And the guy kind of started laughing on the phone, and he says yes.
Uh-huh.
So I thought we had a good little chuckle over that. But I don't know if this is the appropriate timing, but I do have the episode of the week pulled up here.
Actually, I was going to ask you if you had a show of the week for us.
Yes, it's if you want me to play it really quick.
Well, what is it? Give us an introduction.
Okay, well, basically it's Phineas and Ferb. The episode is called G.I. Ants. And
it's called what?
G.I. Ants.
Okay.
Instead of G.I. Joe, it's like G.I. Ants.
Gotcha.
And basically they, in other words, giants, because they create a giant ant farm, and the sister becomes the queen, and she starts demanding things, and as she demands things, the ants begin evolving. And they get to the point to where they've evolved past the human race, and then the clip is as follows. Let's see if we can hear it, and I'll play it really quick.
Okay.
Guys, why is it so quiet here? The ants have left. Is there something about needing to find themselves? Oh, cool.
We have achieved total enlightenment and have transcended the need for material things like ant farms. Our new colony will now traverse the galaxy in search of the fabled picnic planet. Oh, good turkey. We can take that with us as an in-flight snack. Goodbye, Phineas and Ferb.
Goodbye. Have a good time evolving past the need for physical existence.
Have a good time evolving past the need for physical existence.
Yeah.
That's awesome, David.
No, that's incredible.
I didn't hear any of that. In a children's show of all things.
Well, I know. I think that's awesome because it really gets, a generation of people who haven't been conditioned into believing what isn't possible, into thinking about possibilities. So,
right, and they do it in a good, warming, way too, to where it's not scary,
Exactly. Because, if people get scared, they go and buy tactical backpacks.
Hey, I'm not scared. I like camping.
Yeah, okay.
I got a question. Was anybody watching the Discovery Channel right before the show came on?
I was definitely not.
It ended right before the show started. Anyway, there's a show called Doomsday Bunkers. Basically, these people, they get scared and they go and spend probably twice their mortgage on this bunker, supposedly indestructible bunker that they're going to live underground with 2 or 3 families. And the one guy spent $450,000 on this bunker and decked it out because they're getting scared.
Dude.
I know. I don't think there's probably 3 or 4 houses in Wichita. It costs $500,000. Well, no, I take that back. There's probably a lot more, but still, your average house can cost $450,000, and these guys are spending that on a bunker.
Yeah. There's a lot of fear out there, and people want to be prepared. And, the thing is, they don't need to prepare for that. What they need to do is, if they understood what they were doing, they'd understand that they're actually they're working toward creating a situation where they need that bunker.
Right, they're perpetuating that fear just by doing that. They're not only are they perpetuating it, but hell, they're throwing all this money into a market that's basically driven by fear.
Yeah, and how do they advertise? What emotional trigger do you suppose those advertisers play on?
They're going to say, well, 2012's coming, better get your, nuclear winter gear, better get your zombie killing equipment.
Yeah, all you have to do is flip over to Prison Planet anytime, and, even if Alex Jones isn't endorsing some fear-laden product, it's, the ads are all over the website, they're in the show. And I respect Alex Jones a lot for what he does. He's definitely oriented toward finding truth and making sure people understand truth. But he's so afraid and so angry that I can't listen to him. But I got to say, he was right about Obama. And at least about certain things about Obama, in my view. And when he was first spitting that stuff, I would get, I was like, I can't listen to you because you're a Looney Tune, but it turns out he was right about stuff, and a lot of people feel the disappointment in the Obama and having all the hope and being sold all this stuff and then being let down.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that we need to lose faith, and it doesn't mean we need to be afraid. And Alex Jones is definitely one scared dude. He's angry about having to be scared too. Do you guys ever listen to Alex Jones? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
Okay. Well, I would say go search out Alex Jones, but you know what? Don't, because while he does stay on, top of news, so to speak, and stuff that you're not going to hear in the regular mass media, he presents it with such anger and and vitriol and downright hate and fear. Just fear. Like, you need these products. The storm's coming. Blah blah blah. And I just can't. The energy's bad. The energy's all wrong. So.
Well, here's my take on it. I don't think there's anything wrong with, especially knowing that there's actually an increase in natural disasters and things like that happening around the globe. I think it's a good idea to be prepared for some kind of natural disaster happens. But I agree with the perpetuating the fear through building the bunkers and things like that. But I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with somebody wanting to be prepared.
That's very true. But also, I think I'm not disputing the fact that preparedness, the Boy Scouts motto is be prepared. And I'll be the first to tell you, preparedness is paramount. But I think you need to be more spiritually prepared for these types of things than anything else. And,
well, yeah, you shouldn't need a $500 product to survive. All you should need is knowledge, and that knowledge should be free.
Yeah, but you guys have to keep in mind about how the human mind works, right? If our basic security, if we feel insecure about our basic needs, then we won't allow ourselves to evolve to another place because we feel threatened. So, if somebody needs that little piece of something to provide some sort of security so that they feel prepared for if something happens, then that will ease them into being able to even look at something spiritually.
What are you, a therapist? Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Well, you're right, but I still say that, that same insecurity is just fear.
Hey,
and it shouldn't be fed.
If anything, we're bettering off the economy right now by spending all this money.
Oh, whatever. The economy, that's one more thing to be afraid of and be worried about. Put it away, man. Dude.
Do not be afraid.
Come on.
There you go. I don't think the economy that we need to be boosting right now is things like backpacks and survival gear and what have you. I think more importantly, getting back to what we were talking about earlier, we need to be focusing on strengthening, say, the energy economy or, the medical field or education or things like that, to where, hell, if we do have some sort of natural disaster, we can use advances in energy and medical science and whatnot to, I don't want to say prevent it, but to better deal with it as a whole, as a society. If we remain stagnant with our understanding of how to power our homes, what's going to happen when a coal-fired power plant fails or, has some sort of big disaster? What are we going to do when, gasoline runs out or when the oil companies tank? What are we going to do?
We don't need to worry about that because we have other energy systems that are being suppressed, that are already developed, that wouldn't take hardly anything to put into play and make all of those things not even an issue. Those things are being manufactured as issues, things that you have to deal with, things you have to contend with and prepare for and buy and make sure you have enough of because they're scarce. It's a scarce resource. But energy isn't a scarce resource. It's all around us all the time.
Yeah.
And all we need is the technology to tap into it, which already exists and is being withheld from us.
It takes people who are not afraid, who don't give in to that fear, that stand up to the powers that be and say, no, we know that we can do this type of thing. We can't be, quote Einstein again, we can't be solving problems that, sorry, you need to cue me in. That's an Einstein quote.
Oh.
Und jetzt seid ihr Einstein.
Okay, you can't be solving problems with the same mindset that created them in the first place. I know that's not verbatim, but that's, paraphrasing. It's essentially the same thing. You can't be solving an energy problem by using the energy that got you there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? You can't be...
You can't just tweak it and slowly improve it bit by bit. And now we have 60 miles per gallon. It's not...
I don't care. We should be getting... what am I trying to say here? We shouldn't be having to use 60 gallons in the first place.
Well, right, we shouldn't. But, we don't have enough time to try and get people together to stand up to the man. There's not time for that. Because we have to remember, we're on a limited time here. There's major stuff that's going to be going on in a galactic sense that, so much bigger than Earth. We're on a schedule. And there's not time to get everybody together. So those people that are keeping these things from us so that we can move on, they're going to be taken out. They're going to be taken away. And that's the first thing that's going to happen. So, worrying about getting people together to stand up and tell the powers that be, we want this, or you need to let it go. Not that we shouldn't, but it's not going to get us where we need to be in the time that we need to get there. So things are about to get rolling. And I firmly believe that, because it's those drums have been beating. And I believe, personally, I think that by, the spring equinox, big things should be happening. And, by all accounts, maybe they already are.
Spring equinox is coming up the 21st, right?
Exactly.
This month?
Exactly. As in, 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that's less than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Like a week and a half. But, I know what you're saying. The spring equinox would be, astronomically, it'd be a great time to, to see some of these changes that I know we've all been waiting for.
Well, and aside from astronomical alignments and such, there are other things going on that are bigger than Earth in space. And among them are solar flares and coronal mass ejections from our sun. There have been 3 X-class flares. A few days ago, there was an X1, and then there was a 2 X5s or something like that. There are 3 major events from the sun, each one getting stronger and each one getting closer to Earth. And the last one that happened was the biggest, in the form of the coronal mass ejection that came from the sun that is apparently pretty much aimed right at us. And when that hits, which should be Friday, it could be interesting. We'll see. A lot of people don't know there's a difference between solar flares and CMEs, or coronal mass ejections. Some people may not even know what they are automatically. And, that's okay. But what a solar flare is, that's the burst of radiation across the entire spectrum from, regular light to X-rays and gamma rays. It's this flash of light, basically, but it's more than just light. It's all kinds of radiation. But then a lot of times after that, there's a coronal mass ejection from the sun, which is when the sun actually spits out tons and tons of actual mass stuff. And that stuff flies very fast. And the latest one is supposed to hit us Friday and is kind of hit at, Earth-directed is what they call it. And we had one hit today from that for that X1 that came on the 4th, March 4, and it just hit us today. And I don't know about you guys, but I noticed immediately at the beginning of the day, my mood was not right. And I noticed a lot of other people seem to feel that same way. I don't know how you guys if you felt weird today or noticed people being weird today, or were being weird today. But I felt weird, and so Friday could be interesting. We've got a full moon right now, and on Friday it'll still be mostly full. So when that hits, we're talking satellites could get fried, communications could go down, some communications. It depends on what, if anything gets fried, what does get fried. It can overload energy grids in like whole regions of, like, say, the U.S., like the whole Northwest could get overloaded and blow just because of this thing that came at us from the sun. Electronics could get screwy. So, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's picking up. Did you guys hear about any of the solar stuff that's happened in the last few days in the mainstream media?
Not in the media.
I get my media from you.
Yeah, well, and if anybody else wants to keep on top of this kind of stuff that's not in the regular mainstream, they should go check us out on Facebook. Check out our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/extraordinaryyear. Go like us over there, and we'll anytime something that we might talk about on the show comes up during the week, I'll generally post something there. Matt, David, Catherine, you guys are all administrators on that site. I don't know if you knew that, so you could actually get on there and post stuff. But anybody can get on the wall and just keep everybody up to date. How do I what?
Where's the live blog at?
I don't think there is a live blog.
I thought there was a live, a live chat.
Oh, the chat. That's a good question. It never opened up. It's just sitting here spinning.
I couldn't find it last week.
No? Well, I started it, but it's just spinning. But there's nothing to do about it right now. Bummer, did you want to chat?
I was thinking about it earlier. I was thinking about, just letting the world know how beautiful it is.
Well, if anybody wants to call in and talk to us about any of this stuff, it's 858-956-2147. I know we had a call earlier that dropped, but anybody who's out there listening, got something to say about any of this stuff, give us a shout. Okay, so moving on, we've got about 12 minutes left. You guys probably know the name Barry Goldwater from, I know Barry Goldwater is the political candidate. A lot of people didn't like him. He was a presidential candidate who didn't make it. He was a senator, apparently a longtime senator, I think. Anyway, he had a collection of UFO files. And they were just released this week, like a series of letters with like people in the military and stuff that basically confirms a lot of the conspiracies that he was looking into and that people say exist. And there's more or less validation of the existence of these things. But he was being told that, I don't care if you're Barry Goldwater, that you might be president someday, or you're the senator, you don't get access to this stuff. Which basically says, yeah, this stuff is real. So, that's just one more step toward actual disclosure. That stuff's out there in the mainstream. It's on Reuters, which is, a worldwide global news resource, a news wire. It's kind of, it's about as truly journalistic as mainstream media gets. So it's kind of cool to see that kind of stuff out there on Reuters, on the wires. You know what? I was going to tell you guys about the global mass resignations list. I talked about the fact that there were 9 banking resignations just today. Added to this huge list that's growing. We talked about it last week. I'm going to guess we're somewhere in the area of 110 total now. And we're talking major executives, 4 from Goldman Sachs today. So, there's big stuff going on. If you want to check any of the stuff out that we talked about, go to our Facebook page, and you'll find links to everything we're talking about tonight.
I got a question, Tim.
Okay.
We talk about these mass resignations from, banking executives and what have you. Any word on why they're all of a sudden trying to, abandon ship?
Well, no, and I've gone and looked at a couple of the links because this site that's detailing them is detailing them from news links around the world that they're finding, and they're linking to news stories that confirm every one of these resignations, but they're very standard resignation news stories. First of all, even when there is malfeasance proven to the people of the planet, they still don't admit it. So, the way the corporate world works is, if they've been an embarrassment, if they haven't performed, or if they've kind of gotten the firm into trouble, they're gonna resign. But that's how they get fired. But they just say, I want to spend more time with my family. But the real reason is never discussed in these articles, and I think that's just the way it's always been. So you can't go and look for a common thread of the reason why, at least not in anything that I've read. We can all speculate, and we can all get, the word from the inside, but all we really have evidence of, and there's now ample evidence of it, is mass resignations in the financial world on a global scale. 9 just today. But nobody's talking about it. Can anybody tell me what the number 1 story on Yahoo News is right now? Let's go look. Yahoo.com. Let's go see what their top story is. Oh, yeah. Jessica Simpson mirrors Demi Moore by appearing in a bold manner on a magazine cover. Oh, my God, she revealed the baby's sex, you guys. This is important stuff.
Isn't it
Hey, Rush Limbaugh's on MSN.
Oh, hey, you want to know what Jennifer Love Hewitt's favorite body part is? That's important news. We don't get until the 5th story.
They have news about the solar flare on MSN.
Monica, you said that MSN has news about the solar flare?
Uh-huh.
Sweet. Spiders take over a town in Australia. That's new. Reuters reports that the flooding has forced 8,000 Australian residents from their homes in the city of Wagga Wagga in New South Wales. But for every temporarily displaced person, it appears several spiders have moved in to fill the void. What we've seen here is a type of wolf spider, Owen Seaman. Owen Seaman. An arachnid expert at Queensland Museum told Reuters. They're trying to hide away from the waters. So apparently they've got spider plagues in Australia. So that's cool. But yeah, seriously, Jessica Simpson, that's the top story. Not Barry Goldwater.
Isn't that a goddamn shame that that's the kind of thing that our society eats up like fucking, oh my God, that's what we care about as a whole.
Well, that's true. It is sad, it is a shame, and it is what we care about as a whole. and it's also conditioned. You know, we can look at each other and at the people who do that, and we can judge them. And we can shake our heads and like, you idiots! Don't you know there's so much more to life? But we also have to remember, Matt, I think that we're talking about people who are inundated with advertising and sex sells and fear sells, and the whole phenomenon of celebrity worship. So that brings in a lot of money, and that's what it's all about. So we're conditioned to give these people their 15, so we'll want to watch them on TV, so we can get inundated with advertising, and so we can go buy a product like Proactive because we're ugly, or some weight loss supplement because we're fat.
I have a serious question. Can anybody tell me with 100% certitude why the Kardashians are remotely famous?
Oh, they're famous for being famous? You didn't know that?
No, their dad was somebody famous.
Yeah,
he was like some athlete.
Their mom married Bruce Jenner. Now, you guys are all punks, but I was born in 1973.
Wasn't he some fucking Olympic track star?
Bing, bang, bang! Good job. Good job. Yes, he was.
Was he track or a swimmer?
No, he was a runner.
Oh, okay.
He was on the cover.
Someone told me he was track star. I don't know.
He was on the cover of Wheaties for like longer than Tiger Woods.
Okay. Well, I reiterate, it's a damn shame that why is it necessary to devote like literally an hour every week of cable television to these loudmouth, annoying? I know a lot of people out there like them, they idolize them, whatever.
Well,
I don't think it's an hour worth of cable television worthy,
Yeah, but you know what is? Ancient Aliens.
There you go.
You know what? I watched a backed-up episode of Ancient Aliens on the old. We've got AT&T Uverse, and you can record shows and play them back later. And I record Ancient Aliens, and there was an episode called The Greys, and it was about evidence of the Greys and what they're all about. And but I thought one of the most interesting things about this episode that I saw is recently we've talked about scientists coming forward saying that they've discovered 20 different races of extraterrestrial strains of DNA, confirming that we're all from different places around the galaxy. But this, on Ancient Aliens, David Hatcher Childress actually talks about DNA and there being evidence of extraterrestrial DNA in our genome, and this is on the History Channel. We've only got 90 seconds left on the show, guys. It has totally snuck up on me. So we're going to say goodbye real quick. Yeah, I know. It goes quick. Maybe in the future we'll take it back to an hour and a half. For now, we're going to say goodbye. Guys, remember to have hope tomorrow as you're going about your day. Don't focus on the fear. Be not afraid. Remember, we have friends in the sky above us, and they're here to help us grow up as a civilization. But we've got it through the work. So part of that work is focusing on hope. Put energy into feeling hope, and don't put energy into fear. Imagine the world the way you want it to be. Think about the best world you could possibly think of for all people, and the more of us who do that, the closer we get it. There are big galactic events coming up at the end this year that none of us can stop. So let's ride this wave and move forward into a most awesome world together. So hold on tight. It's going to be an extraordinary year. Namaste.